Welcome, everyone, to Legends and Icons Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. I'm Raven, a talk show maven, and wow, today I have the true honor of sitting down in our virtual studios here in California with incredible, talented Merrick McCartha. And let me tell you, you've seen him grace the screens in hits like All American, This Is Us, oh my God, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Act Your Age, one of my new favorites. And that's just to name a few. One thing about Merrick, he always brings depth, he always brings charisma and pure power screen presence is what I call it, to every role I've seen him in. I kid you not. He's an accomplished actor, a seasoned storyteller, and a creative force in Hollywood. He also does plays too. He'll tell you more about that. But beyond the credits and the accolades, he's a man dedicated to the craft, one who brings both intensity and authenticity, which I love, to his performance, whether on screen or on stage. If you're standing, sit down. And if you sit and stand up, because the man is here. Merrick McCartha. Hey there, how you doing?
Wow, I'm going to have you write my bios from now on. I was like, wow, that guy sounds pretty good.
That is you, my man. That is you. I am truly, truly honored to be spending some time with you today to really get to know you. I know your beautiful wife, Peggy. Hey, Peggy, shout out to you. And she told me about the one you're with, Tisha Campbell. Who else is in there? There's 3 stars.
Yvette Nicole Brown, at your age, yeah.
At your age, yeah. That she told me, and she when that aired, I think it was last year sometime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I first got the glimpse of you or knew who you were. And I was like, I know him. I seen him here, and I seen him here, and I seen him here. But that is such a wonderful sitcom. How do you feel about that? That's different, right?
It was. I don't think I have had such an expansive role in a sitcom before like that one. That was an absolute pleasure. My work was with Yvette Nicole Brown as we were love interests. I think she was more of a love interest to me. But it was like it was a great scene. We had a lot of fun. It was about dating and the dynamics of dating. And her character was this mature, sophisticated widow. She had passed away. So she was trying to date again, and she didn't know how to date. And I was, I played this attorney who's kind of oblivious as well. And so her friends, are giving her tips on what to do for her dates with me. And they all go horribly wrong until we kind of figure it out toward right at the end, sort of. And it's really fun, fun episode we did.
It is. It's a very fun episode. I really enjoyed it, and it does remind me of the poor women.
Golden Girls.
Older. Yes. Because I grew up with them.
It was referred to as the Black Golden Girls by some, but it was that it was about these mature, powerful women who are now self-sufficient and how they're dealing with life. There are 3 very different personalities. For sure, right? Let's see, Yvette.
She's more of the business one, right?
Yeah, she was a politician's wife, and she's very politically savvy and very elegant and very proper, you might say.
Yeah.
Her. But the other characters one was kind of wild and kind of still, a little, I won't say loose, it's a bad word. Promiscuous, we'll say. And then her other friend was this very business-minded mother who has a son that lives, it's in the story, also played by Anthony Anderson's son. And they have a lot of adventures and time together. And they decided to move in together in this large condo since they had been friends since they were kids.
Yeah, let's see. Is Lynn Whitley the sassy one?
No. Tisha Campbell is
the
sassy one. Campbell, and she is amazing and beautiful. All 3 of them are. And her comic timing with her character is just genius because she normally plays sort of the grounded one, kind of. She's funny, but she's sort of, you remember her from the show Martin,
Of course.
But this character is different. It's a lot wilder, and she has a lot of fun with it. And you just love watching her. Watching her work. And Ken Whitley she's the one who is the owns the condo, but she's like real estate savvy woman, very powerful, very high power. But
Okay, that's the one I was thinking about.
yeah, she's very she still has a lot of fun as well, trying to date and trying to figure things out with raising a son.
Now this is still on, right? Is it still on?
It did go for one season. It's available to watch on Netflix. And as of yet, we have not got a second season for that.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's got to come. It was great.
We don't know, but the wonderful producer is Allison Faust, who is one pivotal in me getting on that show. And she has been just amazing as a leader in the entertainment industry. She's graceful and beautiful and smart, savvy. And Allison Faust, she says these characters are kind of based on her in different points in her life. And
okay.
It kind of came out. She was the showrunner, executive producer of the show.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. I actually hope we get more things like that, because for me, as an African-American woman, as a Black woman, I was delighted to see this type of sitcom. I thought it was great. It's different. You know what I'm saying? I love to see more of that for sure. Okay, enough about them. Let's talk about you, okay? Your path from engineering to acting is fascinating. When my husband and I had a chance to talk to you, we found a little bit about that. But let's share with the audience, if you can share what motivated you to shift careers like that. I mean, did you know when you were in the crib, Merrick, that you wanted to be an actor? And that's why you took the chance?
No. So I guess if you have time to listen to this story.
We do.
So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. And both my parents, my mother and father, were both Detroit police officers in Detroit, Michigan. Oh. And I grew up in my household. They were about elevating, getting ahead and in Detroit, that was the group of people I was around were all about this making something of yourself kind of thing. Okay. Still blue collar, but always like, hey, you're going to move up. You know, I had people in my family that were like, city officials. So I was, I learned early on that I had a skill with math. My mother taught me math. Like I didn't really get it, but she kind of said something that made it really click. So I excelled in math starting at a young age. So from that, it just kind of drove me to go towards the engineering field because I thought, this is what I'm good at and I can make money with this. And when you're growing up at my house, you want a job that's going to make you a lot of money. And so for me, to be an engineer, you make a good amount of money, you have a good life, you do what they did. You go to school, get a wife, have some kids.
Get a good job.
Get a good job. That was it. Get a good job. I had lots of family that were more along the lines of real blue collar. They wanted me to get a job at the plant in Detroit. Like, hey, we got a job waiting for you at the plant. Why are you trying to go to college? We got the job right here. So it's kind of that dynamic. But also, I discovered at one point when I was very young in school that I had a skill for performing in front of a crowd. There was this moment in elementary school where our teacher had each of us go up and do what I now know was improv for the class. And I was petrified. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was one of the many shy kids in this classroom. So I, timidly walked up to this front of this class and it just came out. I did this improv scene about me having some weird argument on a telephone with someone and they were cracking up. And that was the first moment that I saw, and my teacher said the same, that I had a knack for performing. And so from that, it kind of stuck with me. And so when I went to high school, I went to a school in Detroit called Cass Tech High School. It's a school where you have to sort of have good grades to get in. And most people will go on to be, big somethings in town or in the world. There was like at least 2 or 3 Miss Americas that came out of there, city officials, physicians, attorneys, educators, actors. David Allen Greer went to Cass Tech High. Wow. Went to Cass Tech High. Lily Tomlin went to Cass Tech High. There's a lot of people. So I still was in that track for engineering. And that's a track that I followed. And throughout that time in high school, I did participate in some theater in high school. We had a theater troupe that would go out to younger, like middle schools and elementary schools doing theater for the kids. And I really loved it. And my mother had always, encouraged me, hey, that's something you want. You should really think about it. But I thought, hey, I'm supposed to get a job, right? I got to get a job. And I don't know nothing about being an actor. I don't know what that pays. I see movie stars, but I'm not in Hollywood. I'm in Detroit. So I'm going to go get a job. And so it wasn't until after lots of changes and events in my life, I'd moved out to California, and then my mother suddenly passed away. Suddenly. And I didn't get to see her before she passed. It was rather sudden.
Oh, no.
So, of course, the hard-hitting thing of having a parent pass like that, really hard. And that caused me to reassess a lot of things about my life. And one of those things was what I was doing. I was an engineer at that point when she passed. I had accomplished being an engineer. I worked for a company that built computer systems for satellite programs. So I was on that path. But I decided that this thing that I had this passion for that I never pursued, I don't want to live my life and never
do it.
And have that what if thought in my head.
Yeah.
I've already proven that, but I hadn't with the acting. And so I kind of stuck my toe in a little bit, did some stuff. And I was living in San Diego, California at the time. And I had some success and I got more and more. And then I just threw myself wholeheartedly into it. Right around that time is when I met my lovely wife, Peggy. My thing is you find that person that's going to be with you no matter what, and will stick with you from the beginning to there. And so we've been doing that for years. So that was kind of the turn, is that moment of reflection of, hey, I don't want to go through life not knowing whether or not I could have achieved, or not trying to achieve something that I've always wanted to try.
Just from getting to know you and Peggy a little bit, it seems like, well, I'll bring this up since you brought up that's when you met Peggy, that you were one of those actors, a lot like my husband, Khalik, being in the music world. You guys are constantly around a lot of people, a lot of women and stuff, but he just knew at that time when he was ready to get married with his first wife. It seems like that was the way you were too. You just wanted a partner, somebody that got you and you got them. Would you say that's pretty close?
Absolutely. And one thing about me, and I'm sure this isn't the way everybody thinks, I have been seeing what things that happen in relationships in Hollywood and so forth. And early on, because I knew that I was going to go all the way with this, I was going to pursue it to the very end. I knew that I needed to have someone with me that was there from the beginning. And not after I had made it, whenever that happens to me. I don't want to suddenly meet, and it's because I've always felt like I want to have that knowledge that the woman that's with me is the woman who would be with me no matter what I got.
There you go.
And that would be there to support me and her through thick and thin. And if you're already successful and then you meet somebody, how are you going to know if when it comes down to it, they're going to be with you, unless you go through that again, and then you don't, what do you got? So that was one weird thing about me, that I'm like, I knew I wanted to meet someone, and thankfully, and I've been to multiple relationships, but thankfully I met Peggy, and she is the one who was like there for me from when I had nothing to when I'm getting a little something, and is going with me to the very
top. There you go. That's the way it would be great. Well, congratulations on that, because I know that's not easy. It took me 4, husband number 4. So I tell people, Merrick, women just skip number 3 and go to 4, because that's the charm. That's the real charm. And I feel that way. I'm like, God, why did you wait till I'm this age for it? But it's great when you finally meet them, whatever, right? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. And also, I remember thinking this, being from Detroit, the Midwest, that culture is about, when I was a kid, I thought I'd be married, really young and have 4 or 5 kids. I mean, that's a culture that I was around where you get married young and you build a family. And it took me a while to understand that, no, people shouldn't be getting married young. You don't know about yourself, much less trying to,
somebody else.
Either. So again, not for everybody. Some people, it works great. I have a friend that met his wife in high school. They are together now, happily married, happy parents. But for me, I knew I knew that getting it may be a mistake to think you need to get married young. And I just don't want people to think they have that pressure to get married really young. You need to wait. Even if you get married a little older and figure that's not the one, that's fine. But don't give up on finding the right one for you, because they're out there if you have the faith in yourself.
Absolutely. Now you and Peggy together have 4 children.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a little mini Brady Bunch sort of.
Yes. They're older now.
Yeah.
Well, the youngest is 20, and the elder ones are older. At least one is married, and then another is married and with a kid. Another is now just having a kid and about to get married. So,
Oh, wow.
we're on the cusp of being empty nesters. Maybe our youngest doesn't seem to want to leave. See, they got it good here. They got they got the private room. They got rides here and there, and the comfort. So we're letting them live their life, and we're not going to kick them out just yet. But we have conditions. You got to be going to school or getting a job or both.
Just doing something up in
Something. Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I want to go back to your mom. I know. How old were you when she passed? Were you in your 20s or younger? Or
30s.
30s? Okay. Regardless of what age, that's a hard thing, especially because you mentioned that you didn't get a chance to see her. And then you talked about how afterwards you really started looking at your life. Okay, this is time to make some decisions and stuff. I'm just curious, was there anything particular about your mom and the things you learned from her that added to you making the decision that I'm just going to go for my dreams? And if so, if you're open to it, share that with us.
Sure. I think my mother was in that group of women who knew that there was more to life for them than being staying at home and being subservient to their husband. And there are women that love that, and I respect that decision, absolutely. But my mother was always about going for it, very assertive in her life. She was an educated woman. She taught in school. She got her degrees. And she just encouraged my sisters, but she encouraged us to really go for what we really wanted in life. And she never discouraged us from pursuing things that made us truly happy. And so I always appreciate that, and having a mother like that. But one was a very strong-willed woman who just, hey, you weren't going to send her away. When she had her mindset on something, she was going to get that thing.
That's awesome.
Dad had to learn time and time again. But yes.
You are a really talented storyteller. Where'd that come from?
Well, thank you. I think it is, I think just my sense of people, a sense of humanity, and being able to convey that. I think as an actor, you're conveying a story because you're conveying something that's true about yourself. That's what resonates with people. A good actor, it'll resonate with the audience.
Yeah, and you know what? The audience, I think when you tell a good story like you do, Merrick, the audience doesn't just hear what you say or see what you say. They feel what you say. Yeah.
Right. That's the old saying, people will forget what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
How you make them feel. Absolutely. And you've had such a dynamic career working in film and TV and theater. Take us back to the moment that, you were on stage live, or you were, in the middle of acting, and you said, yep, this is it. I made that right decision. That part that you played just felt so good, going back to feeling to you. You knew you were on the right track, and like, look out.
I did some stage work, but I think the one real, I was, again, lived in San Diego for some years when I moved here from Detroit before moving to LA. And there I was dipping my toe a little bit. One of those toe dips was me doing a short film for a short film competition in San Diego. It was called the 48-Hour Film Project. And the first film I did, I had never done a film before. And so what they do is once you do your film, they will actually show it at a real theater, a movie theater. Everyone goes to watch and you see stuff on a big screen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I never had that experience. So when I did this film and I looked up and I saw myself and I heard myself and I saw what I was doing, I was like, wow, that I can do this. This is I think this is definitely something that I know I can do. And it was like after, I mean, going through it as an actor, you're doing it, it feels good when you're doing it, but when you see your final product, you're like, huh, that's not that's not too bad.
Well, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And you're accomplishing this. And I always tell people it's okay to toot your horn and pat yourself on the back and celebrate the moment or those different moments. You don't have to wait to the big ones, so to speak. Celebrate all the small things that you do. And sometimes if you don't toot your horn and celebrate, nobody is. So I believe what we put out there, Merrick, we receive. Mm-hmm. And what we put out there, other people will perceive it the way we want them to if we just really believe in ourselves,
yes,
believe in what we're doing, and stick to, I always say, your heart, your gut, and soul. Don't try to go off the beaten path, kind of stay in your lane. How do you feel about that?
I was going to ask you because you talk about that, about don't be afraid to toot your own horn. Would you say that is that kind of like don't be afraid to show confidence in what you're doing? Or is it like, hey, bragging? Because there's like a line, is there not?
There's a line. There's a line to it. I agree. I think it's okay to do a little bit of both. Okay. It's not so much what you say. In my opinion, Merrick, it's more about how you say what you say. Okay. So, for instance, I can be talking to someone that I want to impress. And there may be just one or two things that I've done I want to throw out there, where there's a way that I can kind of drip it out or seed it, as they say, in a more flattering way, and I'm going to find some kind of way within their story, like, for instance, I was interviewing an actor last week and he gotten the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. And so I said, we have something in common. He said, really? I said, yeah. First of all, let me congratulate you on getting your Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I believe you got yours from Biden, right? And I was like, yeah. I said, well, we have that in common because I got one for Obama. I'm just curious, how did that make you feel? You see what I'm saying? So does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. I think about it like my wife, who is proud of me, as
of course.
And I think I have that. Some of a little hints of that old mentality of staying humble,
Mm-hmm.
down.
Oh, you're like my husband then, very much so.
Yeah, I agree. So when I first started doing this, I wouldn't say I'm an actor, and I'd say, oh yeah, they'd like, what do you do? I'm like, oh yeah, I work on TV and commercials and stuff like that. But my wife said, oh, he's an actor. He's won this. He's done that. So it took me a while to be okay. And because, when you say you're an actor, people, oh, really? What were you in? And at the time, I was like, I don't have that much. And I felt embarrassed, but it's like, you shouldn't be. So this career is an accomplishment in itself. And so, now, but it took me a while to say, hey, yeah, what do you do? I'm an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I had rattle off a bunch of stuff now, of course, but for a while I had that. So it's good to, I think, for people to, like you said, to have that sense of confidence where you can say, hey, this is,
and timing. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm a very gut, intuitive person. Okay. And so I believe things can be said in the right way at the right time, and again, I'm sure by you being an actor and also by your engineer background, because they're very analytical, right? I'm married to one. So, you have to pick your time when you say things, when your confidence kind of goes up, or when you feel like, okay, it's okay for me to mention this. The person and I were connecting, so it's a lot of things, components, I believe, that go with it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, like I'd never walk into like a restaurant. Hi, I'm an actor. I need to have
Yeah, you're not going to do that. No, don't do that, folks. Don't do that. But at the same time, if everything in your gut, you're being an actor and oh my God, I would love to be in this role. I would love to be one of the actors, let's say, for instance, I know you had an opportunity to be with something with Rob Lowe and his son, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that had to be a big moment for you, right? So sometimes, you're like, okay, this is it. I either can go for it and at least say I gave it a try. Nothing but a failure beats a failure but a try, right? Or I can lay back and be real cool or relax. So, it's right about your timing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had those moments that you just connected with that person and it just went. And that you probably had moments to where you said, I want this, and maybe even sat back and thought about, now what's the best way to get it? Have you ever had that moment?
Oh yeah. I kind of try to strategize all the time when I
There
work.
you go. That's the word. That's the word. Strategize, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
And
I
it's
think,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, you have these big goals, which they should be lofty, and you
Mm-hmm.
gotta learn how to break them down. Okay, this is okay. I got this is I got to do that before that, but okay. And then you get to the point where it's like, okay, what's the next step that I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
You got this big leap you're gonna make, but what's a step I can do each way? And you want to try to follow that. And again, you're making these steps. Life is life, and it can take you different ways.
Yeah.
You can get discouraged if the path that you think you want to go isn't the path that life has for you. But
Yeah.
you still got to make those steps to achieve it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, nothing beats a failure but a try, right? You rather sit back and say, I gave it a try. I went for it. May have not landed it, but at least I went for it, versus always wishing that you at least given it a try,
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about things that you love about what you do and
Mhm.
things that, oh my God, especially with AI being in the picture, we had a chance to talk about AI a little bit. So let's start off with, what are some of the things you love about what you do that keeps you, because you always look so passionate. There's always that little twinkle in your eye when it comes to acting, and you
Yeah.
never look bored or, oh, this is another role. So what are the things
No,
you love
yeah.
about
I love it as like you're taking on a project. Each time I get an audition,
it?
it's a new project. I get to create something. It's like any artist that creates a painting, or any writer, music writer writes music, or a musician that wants to play music. You are creating something each time you go at something. And the audition is your first part of going at something. And I love that very much. The idea that this is something that they gave me to work on and to create something and then to present. And that's how I look at it. And that process is like something I've grown to love. I know there are lots of actors that really don't like that process. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why, because I get the idea that they just want to get the job. And then once they get the job, then they can have all that fun stuff. But this is the thing that you need to understand, because you're not going to be hired to do all these roles they give you auditions for. But
Yeah.
that's got to be okay, because now you're getting to explore your acting skill, your passion in lots of different ways, different roles, things you haven't tried before, to create something, and then you can present that thing to a casting office or producer. So I do love that very much. Of course, once you're booked the job, you are very much pampered as an actor. Or,
Gotta love that.
yeah, you get your own private area to relax in, and they bring you food, and they escort you here and there, like like you're VIP everywhere you go. It's weird. Here's one of the weird things that happens. People don't realize that when you're on a big set, or most big sets, they have this where you're the actor, you're working on the show. When it
Uh-huh.
comes time to eat, they have usually like a buffet of food, craft
Ooh.
service food for people to eat. So as an actor, when you go to get your food, there might be people in line. They're supposed to stand back and let you in front of them as an actor. Now,
Really?
yeah, that is a rule.
Okay.
I've never said, "Hey, get back." People always say, "No, no, you go first." I have to fight with them to try to get. And they always, "No, I will not. You got to go." And I understand there's a logistical reason why,
Uh-huh.
and it's because the actor needs to be prepared to shoot the next scene or whatever they're going to do. So it'll make the
Okay.
actor gets the food stuff out of the way so they can get back to working on their scene they got to prepare.
Oh, okay.
But it still feels weird. It's like I get it's a privilege But I feel like y'all hungry too. Y'all been here all morning. Y'all got up at 5 like I did. Why I don't want to be eating. It's only going to take me a few minutes to wait. Why do I got to wait? But there's like a big rule as an actor. You got to go and eat first when you go to that food line. So that's an interesting thing that I'm like, uh, but yeah, that's part of being pampered as an actor. So I do, I enjoy the other than, being privileged above people. I love they make sure you're well taken care of. That's always
fun. And I bet that's a big difference from when you first got your first acting job, right? Or is it? Did it always start out to where you were treated the same when you first started out? Because when I watch TV, they're showing a biopic or a story about someone. They start off maybe being in this little van or something that's not quite dressy, but then they get really excited because as they grow, then they're, like you said, in this lavish room or something like that.
yeah. I've been to where, there's no room. You're waiting outside and under a tent, it's not, there's no private. Yeah. I've been there too.
But still just as blessed and feeling just as blessed to be there right at that moment. Yeah. I'm just curious because you are an engineer. And from what I know about engineers is they're very, very analytical. And very precise. And I watch my husband, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, is he ever going to finish this thing? I think Peggy's probably a lot like me. Let's just get it done. Let's get it done. How does that play up in your acting? I mean, do you sometimes really dissect a screen or a character? And do you ever go back and like, well, I think it needs to be this, or tell us about that?
Yeah, I think for me as an engineer, yes, I'm very analytical. I analyze things in a structured way.
Mm-hmm.
What I've grown to be my mode of doing things in a structured way. But as an actor, it's different. And that's one thing about my life that I enjoy is that I have that side that's a very structured, analytical person, and acting can be very different from that at times. So when I went to study acting, I went about my learning in a very structured way, like I did in engineering school, like math. 2 + 2 is 4. That's just how. But acting is a different thing. It's an internal human thing that is unpredictable. That sometimes there's no right answer. Like, oh, I've got to do this right. And acting, no, don't try to do it right. There's no right. There's just you. And that's got to be good enough. And so a lot of acting I do is being able to accept that, hey, I have this idea of the structure, what to have, it's going to be, but what comes out falls all around that structure they thought. And that's like, hey, that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I've embraced that just let me be there, that's when I book the jobs. When I book the job is when I just let it be me.
Be authentically you.
Yeah.
Right? Unapologetically you. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Wow. As you all can see that are watching or hearing this is quite an amazing actor. I told you he's a powerhouse for sure. Okay. So let's talk about what you don't like. Okay. About acting. Is there anything? Because maybe there's nothing that you don't like particularly.
I think the part that can get actors down is not knowing. And it's just something that you have to accept in the business. Like when I have an audition and I send that audition off, or if I do an audition in front of somebody, I leave. They decide. And I don't know what they're saying, what they're talking about, what they thought, what their key issues are, what I'm up against. None of that stuff I don't know. And it's hard for a lot of actors to deal with that because, as an engineer, I want to know, okay, what were the parameters around me not getting the shot, They're like, no, it's not. And it's a lot of times it's no rhyme or reason. It could be a wide variety of things of why they decided not to pick you for that acting job. Got to be okay with that because 99.99% of the time, it's not about your acting. It's not about your acting. It's not about your look. It's something else altogether.
Yeah.
And nothing you should concern yourself about. You shouldn't. But as actors, especially when they get to my head like I am, like, oh, what was it? What happened? Why did I not get that? Yeah. It was good. Like, yeah, you're great. You're great. They had a different idea in mind. That's
But
all.
it helps knowing. I mean, I come from years of sales, telemarketing. I probably called you in Peggy's house and I didn't even know it. You hung up on me, okay? And one of the things that they used to really have to push me on is being more assertive, getting out there. And then
Bug people. I
also,
don't want to bug people. Why do I want to bug? This person said they're busy. I don't want to bug them, right?
I know, but hey, they say whether skinny women, salespeople, they have skinny kids don't eat or something like that. And I was in sales and it was straight commission. So, it's like if you want to eat, you better get bold, you better get assertive, more assertive, and just go out there, and it helped me build my confidence. But again, I had to learn when to pull back. That's probably why I had to marry 4 times, because I got very, very, very assertive. Sometimes colleagues like, okay, am I talking to Raven or Raven the Talk Show Maven? Pull back, pull back. So I know, so there is a little shuffle in what you do. Wouldn't you agree? In acting or in life, we got to know when to move forward aggressively, and we got to know when to pull back. But one thing I find is everyone has it to where they have this perfectionism into them. Yeah. And I see this a lot with Khalid, because, he's very much an analytical person. And I'm wondering this about you. Do you ever find yourself or have to talk yourself down from, just being analytical versus going into perfectionism?
Analytical versus going into
Mm-hmm. Like, do you ever say, okay, like I'm trying to make things a little bit too perfect? Because in acting, shouldn't it be a little bit of spontaneousness?
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's another thing that actors make a lot of, and I've fallen guilty, prey to this as well, and the world of acting today is now it's these self-tapes where you have to put yourself on tape, whereas before you go into a casting office and they would watch you do a scene. They give you a couple times to do it right, and they maybe give you a quick, hey, maybe try this time and do that, and you got 2, maybe 3 times max to do that. And it's like, hey, what you put out there was what they got, and there's nothing else you can do. So with self-tapes, you have the opportunity to do as many tries as you want as an actor to turn in the self-tape. You record it yourself, and then you turn it in. So you can do it 50 times, 100, and so what the problem with that is that you're trying to do it perfect, and because you have the idea of what's perfect, end up wasting a lot of time trying to do the perfect audition when the one you did the second try was it. When I first started doing this self-tape stuff, I was doing that. I did 10, 15 takes. And it's like, when I went back to look at everything to decide, I was like, and that second one was it. I've spent all that time, 10 more times. That second one was the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta let go of having a sense of what is perfect. What's perfect is what is genuinely you. That's perfect.
Yes. Yeah. And leave a little room for that spontaneous, right?
Yeah. And you know what? And people aren't perfect. So if you're acting a scene and you make a mistake, you say the wrong thing, you stutter a little bit, that's what people do. So that's not wrong with that, because you stutter a little bit when you say that line. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. You're a human being, and you got to be okay with that.
Yeah. And you have trained with some incredible mentors. And tell me if I'm wrong, research isn't always right. But from what I understand, Gregory Berger, of Yale School of Drama, and Rob Clare from Royal Shakespeare Company. What's a piece of advice that has stuck with you throughout the years from them, either those two or anyone that you've been mentored by, that you find yourself maybe right in the middle of a scene, it coming back to you?
Oh, sure. Gregory Berger, or Berg, as you call him, he's a very dynamic teacher in Los Angeles, an instructor at Yale Drama School for many years, does private clients now with big names. Now he's got big, so I work with him privately as well.
Oh, awesome.
So he has this thing about being impactful to the other person you're acting with. And that's really part of the Yale drama program is, you got to focus on that other person. So when you see actors that are about themselves, when they're talking to themselves, that's considered bad acting in the Yale program. But if you see someone that's really trying to engage someone else, trying to convince them, trying different things, honestly, trying to change or trying to get what they want, that's part of the training for Yale. So that's what I get these scripts and I'm looking at this, I'm doing the scenes, and I just did a show recently where I was doing this, where my other actor he just had a stone face. That was his character, but I'm trying to convince him or convey something or impact him. And so I'm honestly trying to get him to break that stone face. And I found myself following that learning, that teaching from Berg, which is you engage with the character, try to impact them, do something to get them to change, in some way to impact them. And that really comes up a lot when when I'm realizing I'm doing it, like, yes, I'm applying something that I learned and it's going well.
Don't stop me. Let me go. Let me flow. Love that. Now, characters from some of the characters you played in, like from law enforcement figures to comedic roles, is there a particular role that maybe threw you for a moment and you kind of really had to feel your way into it? It didn't feel as natural as you thought, or you had, a challenge that you were struggling with? And if so, how did you get past it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of the different roles that I've had that I was like,
it's a
lot. Usually I'm playing a detective, a police officer, a doctor, attorney, quite a bit. One is so here's the thing. I did an episode of the show called This Is Us.
Oh yeah, I love This Is Us. Yeah.
It's a good show. You might have seen it. So I got the part of this character on an episode, and my scenes are with Sterling K. Brown and some other wonderful actors as well. And I'm a golf buddy in this group. These scenes, I'm one of the golf buddies, and we're bantering. And I'm sort of.
It was 4 of you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 of us, and I'm kind of in the peanut gallery with my other friend, Tommy, another actor. And so we're kind of making snipes at Sterling K. Brown's character.
Yeah.
Sterling K. Brown's a professional. He is a generally wonderful human being. We chatted with him. He and I played mini games of pool, while we were waiting around on set. And the character is written as an older guy, like maybe in his 60s or so. And I'm not in that age range yet. And so I was like, huh. And I had to realize that, you know what? Forget the age range thing. It's okay. They wrote it at 60, but clearly they know I'm not, and they want me to be this role. And so I had to kind of feel my way through just being and I'm not an avid golfer. I mean, I golf, but not an avid golfer.
Okay. There's 2 things then you're dealing with at that time.
Yeah, and I was nervous, and I even went to one of my good buddies who's a golf pro, and he helped me like the day before shooting, go on the range, went on the driving range, and helped me with getting my swing up to some kind of decent looking like I could play well. But yeah, so I attacked it in that sense, that sort of an analytical sense, I would say. I want to be proficient because I don't want to go out there and clearly not knowing how to golf. But it was a challenge in that I was sort of this jokey, I want to say a Red Fox type character, but had a lot of wisecracks to throw in there. And not being the old wisecracking type, I don't wisecrack normally. but you know what? There's a part of me that is somewhere in there is. I've known someone in my life that kind of stuck with me, and that's that part of me. You have to dig deep, but you have to bring that
there though, huh? Mm-hmm.
The role. So that's kind of what I did to deal with that, to dig deep, find that part of you that is true, and just kind of expand that to where you need to be to do the role.
Wow. Okay. You've given us a lot, and I'm just curious. If you were to meet someone today that really wanted to get into acting, what would you tell them? How do they go about it? What are the strong things? I know you and I talked about confidence earlier. How big of a part does that play? And walking through those doors, getting ready for casting. I remember back in the day, I thought I looked like Jane Kennedy. I know I didn't, but I thought I did. Okay.
Yeah,
And I wanted to.
Yeah, you do Jane Kennedy. Yes, yes.
Thank you. And, I was short, big nose, all the stuff that you weren't supposed to be. And this was, back in the 70s when I wanted to get into modeling. But it was just something about it, Merrick. I just wanted to be a model. I just wanted to be a model. I think more for the attention, because I felt like Casper as a kid and I was like starving for the attention. I used to tell my dad, build me a stage. I want to be actor, something, just do something to me. Okay. And I just said, I'm going to be one. And I just made myself up and I went in the first time. There were all these tall, beautiful women. I could not compare it with them, but I knew all I could do was just muster up as much confidence as I could. And they gave me a call back. They didn't give me what I wanted, but it gave me something, So I'm just curious, what are some major things, even if the person doesn't look that part, but they really feel inside them, like you did, when you transitioned over, this is what I want to do. Do you have any words of wisdom from you, your mom, or any of your mentors you can pass on to people like that?
Yeah, sure. I think any actor that's looking to start out and get into acting, many things you need to learn, but among them are that you can't expect it to happen quick. You can't.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Expect to be an overnight. You hear these stories, I'm sure it's inspiring, that's great, but you can't be expecting that, because that'll be the fastest way you burn out, because you haven't done it within a month. You're like, hey, how come I ain't acting with Meryl Streep? Hey,
microwave mentality is what we all have, right?
Yeah. It's going to take some time, and it will likely take a lot of time, more time than you think. The other thing is learn the business. It's great. It's cathartic. It's magic. It is deep for you to perform as an actor. It is. It's just something that actors that love genuinely. But it's also a business. If you're intending to make money and make a living from it, it's a business, and you need to understand how that business works and realize that the best actor is not going to get the job. Many times there's no rhyme or reason why you did or didn't get the job. There are going to be lots of people that look like you when you walk into an audition room. That's just the business. You think you're unique and special, and you are, but externally, you can see a lot of similarities in a lot of people when you walk in an audition room that might throw you off. So just learn the business. Know this not going to be quick. Learn the business and be ready to persevere, because it takes a lot of courage and perseverance to really make it through.
That's a good word, perseverance. Stamina, all that stuff, to get through. You brought up some really good points. One that you just made, I want to go back to when you said you walk in a room and a lot of people will look like you. What about this, Merrick, when you walk in a room and nobody looks like you?
I do that quite often. I walk in many rooms in many situations where I'm the only.
That's a whole different feeling.
Whole other thing. But with an audition room, you walk in there and there's nobody looking like you. First thing I do is like, oh, I have a leg up.
That's a great way to look at it.
I have a leg up. I have a leg up. Yeah. Because lots of times when people are scanning their options, they got their eye on something that's interesting. Who's not like everybody else? Oh, you're not like everybody else. Let me check you out. If you're looking like everybody else, sometimes you have a hard time standing out. So I have a leg up because I know I'm going to stand out.
Yeah.
Whether I do good or bad, I'm going to stand out.
I like that.
Because I'm the only person here that looks like me. So I look at it that way.
Wow. That's it. That you put a whole different spin on it. So what you're basically saying, Merrick, is we have choices. We have a choice at times like that, at those unpredictable times when things catch you completely off guard. And you were ready, but then it completely took you off guard. I think looking at it like that and say, I have an opportunity, or I can really work this, I'm going to stand out. Now I don't have to worry about everybody looking like me and we all looking or talking the same. I get a chance to stand out and blow their mind. Hey. Love that. Thank you for sharing that. Any other words of wisdom? Is there anything that people need to look out for? I hear so many nightmare stories. Of course, my husband being in the music business has shared some, and we watch a lot of biopics and different things. I had a chance to interview Chile years ago, and just the different things people, their dreams are kind of like crushed because they made a wrong decision. Is there anything that you were warned about or mentored on to make sure you're treated the way you should be treated?
Sure. I think, there's lots of things out there that kind of rope people in. So, of course, first thing is if something looks like it's too good to be true, it is in this business.
Mm-hmm.
If someone says, "Oh, we're going to put you in the next Will Smith movie," no, that's too good. It's not. They're not. It's not. If you give us $5,000, we're going to have you working on the next Tom Cruise. No, that's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. It's too good to be true. It is. Also, I think your attitude, people's attitude in this industry, it's interesting. And I'm not sure what causes this, but I think some people come in with this attitude of, "Hey, I'm an actor and I deserve the best of everything. So when I come in and walk on a set, I want, champagne in my, whatever this is." And so you start to disrespect people on set. Or it happens in the audition room too. When you go into audition, for example, and there may be a person who's taking names, checking off names, and you treat them with disrespect. Why? For one, as a human being, if you don't treat anyone else like that, normally don't do it then. Don't. Because you don't know who that person is, might know the casting person. That person might be the person auditioning you. You don't know.
Never know.
Be careful how you treat people and be generally good to people as you are. Don't never go in with an attitude where you're demeaning or belittling of anybody, whether you in the audition room or if you're on set. That person that's setting up the lights next to you, there's no reason why you can't treat them like a human being.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. That kind of thing. It's all that's all about building a community and bringing the energy up on the set where you're working.
Energy is important.
Yeah,
energy is important too.
But yeah, so I would say be humble, but just be a genuinely good person to people. People sometimes lose that in this industry where they think, "Oh, there's a hierarchy, so I got to be like this." No, you don't. There are people that do that, but that doesn't mean that's the right thing to do.
Right. I think that tip right there, it should be not just for those who want to be an actor, but for all of us right now, because the world needs love right now. Merrick, we really do. All American has such a dedicated fan base. It really does. And what's been the surprising reaction to you about that?
Well, I'm saying surprise. It's a good show. It's a good.
It is. What's your character in that one?
I play Robert Hicks, who's Simone Hicks's father.
Okay.
And I think it's season 2 or 3 or something. And, a few scenes with her. But I play the father, and then there's one playing my wife, and so we're like these stuck-up parents. We're the well-to-do parents, and we don't want our daughter to be cohorting with any these athlete people that we want our daughter to be an academic star. So that's kind of the gist of our character. But that set and other sets like This Is Us, where you feel it from the crew to the series regulars on the show, the positivity, and that brings up the show, the impact of the show, because that there's those positive vibes that are resonating on that when you're shooting, that comes out on the screen when everyone else gets. And that's why these shows get popular, and people don't realize that. And when there's a negative energy on the show, it tends to not last very long, So if there's a positive, then people really get it and it really resonates, and that's what you want to be part of. So with All American, it was very much that.
I've got to check out some more. You said you're at season 2 and season 3.
I think season 2 I have to go and look at it, but I got the opportunity to work on that show as Simone Hicks's father. And then they had called me back to work on another episode. And something happened the day of shooting where they said, "Hey, Merrick, we're having an issue. We're wondering if you can come in much earlier than you were scheduled to." And I said, "Oh, absolutely." Showed up, get there. And it turns out that they were having a problem. One of the actors they were trying to shoot wasn't going to be available. And so they're trying to fill up that day with other scenes because they're like, "Hey, we got to figure out something else for the day because we're going to lose money if we don't shoot something. So they're like, hey, so we kind of had you as a smaller part in the scene. We're going to write some more dialogue for you for this scene. I'm like, cool, I can do that. I've trained with some of the best, you know? So I was on it, and I did that. And you know what, Merrick? That was really good. You know, we actually have this other scene that we want to do. We have this written out. Can I say this for a few minutes, and can you do it? And I said, yes, I can. I've trained for this. This is one of those things you train for as an actor. And I did it. And after that, so by the end of the day, I did 4 scenes. I was only supposed to do 1. And by the end of the day, they were literally handwriting the scenes out and handing them to me and say, okay, can you get these lines down? I'm like, yeah, I got it. So moral is that be prepared as an actor.
Yeah.
You have these opportunities. So what is that? Luck is actually preparation meets opportunity. It's kind of what this whole—
you got to be ready. Yeah.
Was. And after I did that shoot day, that's when they had me back on multiple episodes after that, because they saw, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. And so I came back again and again. So that was one of those times, one of those moments, you know, when you gotta—
Yeah. Well, not that only that you knew what you were doing, but you were quick to get right into it. You were ready, you know, and you got to be ready for opportunities, right? Whether they're business, whether they're act, whatever it is, you got to be ready. Don't miss your moment, is what I call it, right? You got to be ready, even if you got to fake it till you make it, you know, at least give it your all, you know?
Yeah. And I've seen the opposite thing happen where an actor is asked to do something that's beyond what they were initially going to do. And they're upset. They get angry, they get negative. Why do I got to do this? This is not what you said I had. They get mad. They turn this into a negative thing. When I decided to turn it as an opportunity to do something that I love more than I expected to, as opposed to, oh, you're putting this onus on me to do this thing. And now it's like, why do you have a problem with something that you love to do? Don't do that. Opportunity.
Wow. You know, we went way past can you squeeze in 6 more minutes? We're going to wrap it up at the top of the hour. Okay. This has been great. Thank you. I'm really enjoying this. If you could create your dream role, Merrick, something completely outside of what you've done before, what would it look like?
Outside of it's hard to say that because
you've done a lot.
I've done a lot. I've done a lot of roles, and there's not much I haven't done that I enjoyed.
Is there anything that you feel like you're missing, you know, you've missed, or you sat back in the theater and said, I can do that? Like, I would love to see you on this new soap opera I'm starting to watch, Beyond the Gates. Hey, if anybody's watching Beyond the Gates.
Well, actually, I did audition for a role on that show. They had me audition for one. I think what I understand was there was a last-minute casting change, and they were scouting people at the last minute to fill this role, and I auditioned for that show.
We can keep our fingers crossed.
I don't think if I'm going to get on it. I mean, you don't know; it's a new show. But I thought I did a very nice audition, and yeah, I'm excited for Beyond the Gates. Also, and I met other soap opera stars that I talked to outside, and they're like, "Oh, you auditioned? How I want to be on that show. Everyone wants to be on this Beyond the Gates show. It's going to be a huge, huge thing." So I'm really excited for that.
I'm putting good vibes out there. Yeah. Vibes, you guys. Okay, here he is. But so there's really nothing that you can think of that you would say, like, you know, I don't know. I'm a big vision board person, and you know, when I started in radio, I put Jane Kennedy as the first person that I wanted to interview, and she was the first celebrity I interviewed. Okay, and then she was this early on, 2006. Yes. Never really done but 2 interviews before her. And my gut just says, reach out to Jane Kennedy. She was somebody you always admire. And I did it. And so then I started putting different people's faces that I wanted to interview on there. And then I would come in, I'd have their little faces cut out on my top of my computer mirror. And I'd come in every day. Good morning. How you doing, Les Brown? How you doing, Jack Canfield? Oh, wow. I can't wait to talk to you. Yes. So I have a whole list of dream interviews. So what about you? There's nothing there that you said I haven't done yet, but I really would like to do a scene like this. And it's okay if not, just curious.
One of the shows I watched that I thought was it's one of the I think still one of the best shows out there that's ever done was the show called Luther.
I never watched that, but I'm familiar with it for sure.
And he's this very flawed, complex anti-hero. He's a hero, and he's the main hero of the show in the series. And I thought that's got to be a dream role for someone to be a complicated character, a person, and but you're doing good. You're saving lives. You're trying to live your life. You're having lots of problems. And it's one of those one of those shows that resonate with me as an actor. So this is the kind of leading role that you would want for me, like that. I having a law enforcement background in my family, as we talked about, and knowing how that is, that was that. And also, I did a show called 911 a while ago, and my scenes were with Angela Bassett.
Oh, my girl. Okay.
Lewis, and Aisha Hines, Kenneth Choi, all
I love that show.
So, and the first day of shooting that I went there to shoot, my scene was basically me yelling at Angela Bassett. Not yelling, but being very mean to her. I'd never met Angela Bassett before. She's one of the actors that if I could ever act with anybody, and
be great. And I got to yell at her.
If I meet her, she's the most gracious professional woman, and Don Lewis. And I was doing and it was one of those things, your earlier question, I was struggling to get through because I'm doing my scene and the director's like, hey, can you be meaner to her? And I'm thinking, that's Angela Bassett. That's Betty Shabazz. Who are you telling me to be mean to the Queen Angela Bassett to? And I had to struggle through that. It was a struggle because but I could do that. And I tried to hold together as much as I could before I fanned out on her at the very end of the day. And Don Lewis, and I are still pretty cool to this day. I mean, we stay in touch as well. But yeah, that was one of those moments where I want to be able to work with great actors. Anything. Angela Bassett, if it's Gary Oldman, if it's Mahershala Ali's great, Jeffrey Wright, fantastic, Denzel Washington, of course,
yeah.
People out there that I love to work with. Yes.
Yeah. You have such a great way of speaking, and like I talked about earlier, telling stories, and I don't know, I'm just in awe at the way that you just present yourself very, very, very well. And I've been blessed to have interviewed a few celebrities and stuff like that. I love that you're so authentic and you have so much personality. And I'm just curious, are you often asked to come speak as a speaker, to audiences and stuff? What made me think about this is when you brought up Denzel, because I've recently really gotten into Denzel's YouTube motivation tapes. And I see you kind of sort of the same way,
There were smaller things, it might be for an acting class or as a panelist for acting students at an acting school. But
that's usually the start of it, the small.
I feel like because I listen to those things too. The thing, this tape here of Denzel Washington with these amazing pearls of wisdom.
Oh my God!
I don't know if I can come up with that kind of stuff.
I think you could. I think you, in your own way, you could. I'm telling you, as soon as you brought up Denzel, I'm like, I want to ask him that because I can see that. Not that you guys comparing you, but I you just have this presence about you. It's hard to explain, but I think it would go over well, so. I know you got a lot of acting jobs, but you never know. You never know, for sure. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate it. I think now, before we close, I just want to ask you maybe 3 or 4 rapid fire questions, and off the cuff, let's say, what's the fun thing Merrick likes to do that has nothing to do with acting?
That's hard because everything to me has to be.
I'm not surprised at that. You don't take it remind me of me and Khalik, always working, right?
Dancing with my wife is fun. I like doing that.
Dancing? Okay. Are we going to see you guys on, what is it? The one, what kind of dancing, first of all?
Dancing with the Stars? No.
Yeah.
It might be on Soul Train. They bring that back. We get on,
Oh, the line dance. Oh, no, Raven, that's the Temptation dance. Okay. Yeah. I'm going way back in time. Who would play you in a biopic about your life?
Who would play me in a biopic? A new younger actor is what you're thinking, or like an older actor?
Either or. Who would you like to play you?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's a young, I can't think of his name. He was on Issa Rae's show for a while, and then he had a small part on the new Top Gun movie. I'm thinking of his name, I can't think of it now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, look, blanks, I know about blanks. Okay. It happens all the time. If your mom was here, what do you think she'd say to you?
Oh, you about to get me emotional. What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think that she would be proud.
Hmm.
Certainly proud.
Yeah.
And I think that she would, yeah, she would be proud. I think she would be forgiving of me not doing this sooner because I know she would be like, "You should have done this sooner."
Really? Yeah.
Give me that I still did my other thing first. And
Yeah. Is your dad still alive?
he is. He's
Okay.
in Detroit. He's a retired police
So
officer.
what does he say?
He is he's got that fatherly pride where he doesn't want, he's like, yeah, my son did good. Son did good. Kind of his thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And your kids, how, oh my God, how was it the first time they heard your kids sing you on TV?
It was like, they were like, oh, I think for them, because they don't go to set with me. All
Mhm.
that I leave and I say I'm going to do this thing and I come back. But the first time they saw me on TV, oh, you're actually doing that. You are for real. You're actually up there. It was like they were very excited and happy. But I think for a while they didn't quite get that I was actually doing the thing until they saw. I'm like, yeah, that's what's been paying for all this. What else you thought I was
That car you drive,
doing?
the new outfit you have on, yeah, that's where that's coming. Do you
Yes,
feel
yes.
like either one of them have any aspirations than doing this?
I think one of our youngest is signed with one of my agents for commercials and
Okay.
but they're like hey, they have other things they're doing. So hey, if it
Yeah.
happens, so it's kind of real casual for them. I'm like, cool. I'm glad you had the opportunity to have it be casual for you, for me,
Uh-huh.
life passion. But if you want to, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think they're all pursuing their own goals and they're different from mine. One
Yeah.
of the
I
kids,
bet they're all creative though, because both you and Peggy are very creative.
or
Just
like
being around in that environment, how could you not, right?
or business mind. I mean, Peggy's one of the
Hmm.
most astute business people that I've
She
ever met
is.
in my life. She's fantastic and creative. And
Hmm.
a couple of our kids have had that too, where they're business minded, they're starting a business. Artistic, like our oldest is a poet and a writer, and
Hmm.
very, very dynamic and award-winning writer and poet. And our other kids, he's all about building and constructing, and he's very sharp-minded, almost more analytical than I am. But
Yeah.
he's also pursuing his career as well. So we're happy that they're pursuing what they want in life. None of our kids, thankfully, are feeling like they're in a rut.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the life I want to lead, and they're happy. I feel like none of the kids are in a life that they don't want to lead. That makes sense.
Yeah. You got wonderful kids. The ones I met. I mean, you guys just have a great family. So congratulations. That's not easy these days. There's a lot of horror stories. And, when you recognize it, okay, and you can really this is another pat yourself on the back.
I guess.
Toot your horn, we did good. I wanted the final question I say for last, because I'm really curious your feelings about this, and even some of your people you talk to without naming their names about AI
Mm.
and how it's going to affect the industry. I mean, look, I heard a talk show
Mhm.
host and co-host,
Mhm.
and they had a guest, and they were all AI. I'm like, no, they're not taking my job. How do you feel about that?
I think they're trying. It's sad. It's sad that they're trying. It's one of those situations where you might be able to pull this off, but should you? But I still of the belief, and it's my belief, that as a human, as a man-made machine, never be able to perfectly resemble a human being in the sense of the full embodiment of a human being. So as an actor, there's no film they're going to make where I'm going to believe that's another human being. Because something about a human being, a human soul, human emotion, human energy that connects, that resonates with another human being, that you can try to program it in. It's not going to work. I've seen lots of stuff. People, oh yeah, but they're developing it. Yeah, I know they're developing it, but a human being really does know another human being.
Yeah.
And you can see things happening now where they're creating commercials where they have people in them. And, oh, I didn't know that wasn't a real person. It's like, well, yeah, they should have quick flash of them smiling, or they have them running or something like that. It's like, okay, that's, okay. You showed a human being running, great. But when you're acting in a scene with somebody and you're communicating your feelings about something and you're reacting to another human being, that's something that can't be programmed in. It can't be programmed in because it's way too random and spontaneous and authentic of a human thing to write into a computer program. Any movie that's ever been made, anything that's ever been put on screen, you could program it to replicate that. Yes.
Yeah.
You can replicate the classic movies of it. You can replicate The Godfather. And sure. But for a new film that's never been done, people are going to know it's not real because there's something about the interaction that you can't, human interaction that can't be simulated on a computer. So I am not happy that they're trying to make it like they can replace actors. I have this fear that, unfortunately, some things are being replaced with it. Certainly graphic,
a lot of stuff. Yeah. And everything. You see it more and more each day, and it's happening fast. That's the thing about it. So how do we keep up? What do you have any thoughts about that?
Lots of people are of the mind of, hey, you need to really understand how it works and learn how to use it to your benefit. Hey, let's figure out how to use it to your benefit. Don't be scared of it. Learn what it's about.
Embrace it, kind of sort of.
I said it's where you're using it to your benefit, or let it do what it does best and leave it at that. Not let yourself worry about it. I'm of the mindset that, hey, I'm going to continue what I'm passionate about and not let myself get.
There you go. Focus on the controllable.
Yes.
Right? And let the other go, and just be you. Continue doing what you've done for all these years. This is why I look at it. Kalik and I talk about it often because it's very heavy in what we do, and you're right. They can make it look like there's always that little thing. Sometimes you might see 5 fingers. Four fingers.
As a little eye movement that I go, oh, that wasn't a natural eye movement. I've seen those too.
It's a few things. Yeah. But what I find in our industry, it is making us step up because sometimes you can get so comfortable doing what you're doing. And so that's one of the things that we definitely find. Well, Merrick, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again for sharing your journey, insights, and your awesome stories with us today. And where can people follow you, or anything you want to share that I haven't shared?
I'm still holding on to a little Instagram account called The Real Merrick McCartha on Instagram. I'm sort of slightly holding on to a Facebook account only because that's a lot of friends and family. That's all. But otherwise, Blue Sky or Instagram is probably the best. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're wishing you continued success, and tell Peggy I said hello. And we all are going to be tuning in. Is there anything next or anything special you want us to tune into and share and tell people all about you other than this interview? Y'all pass.
There is a big show coming up this summer that I still at right present cannot say the name of.
Okay. Well, let us know when you can, and we'll make sure that we get it out there. And I wanted to congratulate you because I also, in my research, found out that you and your lovely wife, Peggy, are heavy in philanthropy. And that's amazing. Any charities or anything that you want to make mention?
I think the LA Mission is always a good one. Where I live anyway, LA Mission is great, but it's your personal time a lot of the times. I think that makes a bigger impact. We'll carry like packets of supplies or food or necessities in our trunk, multiple packages. See someone on the street in need, we'll get out of our car and say, "Hey, is this helpful for you? Can you take this?" It'll be have a little money in there too, something. And these are something that we do because it's like we want you to know that we see you as a person. You're not invisible. That people help you. And here, I can help you a little bit. This is what I can do right now. But here you go, and hopefully it does help you in some way.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Dream Builders Project.
Yes.
Justice, things like that.
Yeah. The Dream Builders Project we donate to as well every month. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been none other than Merrick McCartha. Oh my God. Legends and icons yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm Raven Blair Glover, Raven the Talk Show Maven. That's Merrick McCartha. We'll see you next time.